Happy July 4th. It's a wonderful holiday, and during the week I spend a lot of the time in Philadelphia, and my office is 1 block away from Independence Hall. And as my taxi takes me down Market Street, I look over my right shoulder, and there's this beautiful long lawn with Independence Hall there in the distance. And it is so beautiful and really makes you feel July 4th. But I wanted to spend a moment, if you want to spend the time with me, looking through a part of the Declaration of Independence and discussing some of its intellectual and philosophical roots and why it was at the time a revolutionary document and why it has never been surpassed as a statement of human liberty. Jefferson wrote in it, "We hold these truths to be self-evident." Now, self-evident, indicating that there is this wasn't a product of science or of anything else. It's obvious that all men are created equal. Self-evident. That they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. Now, endowed by their Creator, meaning not given by the government, not given by the state, not given by the king, but by God. And that these are core human rights that every human being is entitled to. This concept was revolutionary at the time it was said and is still being disregarded in the vast majority of the world. And that among these rights are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Well, life everybody agreed on because the feudal society, the mercantile society, protected people's lives. The whole concept was you give the Lord your service, he'll give you protection. But liberty, the idea that government would protect liberty, that was why we created government. Government was always the one that took away the liberty. And by switching sides in this and making liberty a human right that the government was obliged to protect, he stood that whole system on its ear. The most radical part of this was the third phrase, the pursuit of happiness. Happiness? Who the hell gave a damn about people's happiness back then? There was a wonderful line, I think, by Voltaire, who said people's lives were nasty, brutish, and short. I'll Google it when I finish, so if it's wrong on Voltaire, you don't have to email me. I'll check it out. But nasty, brutish, and short. There was no concept of happiness. And the idea that the government would try to help people pursue happiness in their lives was a totally, totally new concept. And that the governments, and to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men. The idea that the government exists to secure your life, your liberty, and your pursuit of happiness, rather than to suppress it, is the absolute core of the Declaration. Deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That concept of from the consent of the governed obviously underscores democracy. You play that against the Islamist view of government. Not derived from the consent of the governed, but derived from what they regard as the word of God. And why should we listen to the people who are governing, who are sinful and make mistakes? Let's just follow religious law given to us through the Prophet, through the Koran. The idea that the government's legitimacy, that its power came not from the divine right of kings, not from some Sharia law, but from the consent of the governed. A truly revolutionary document worthy of our reverence today. Thanks for watching.